ndipo lachisanu pa 20 Disemba kwaya izi ndi zomwe zidzakusangalatseni. Utatu Oyera kwaya 1, St. Cecilia Nkhukwa, St. Kizito kwaya kuchokera ku St. Kizito Chigoneka Parish, St. Mary's kuchokera ku St. Anthony of Padua Parish, komanso St. Francis kuchokera ku Madisi Parish. Nthawi yoyambira masiku onsewa ndi 8:15 madzulo ndi kumaliza nthawi ya 10 koloko usiku. Tiyeni tonse tipitirize kukonzekeretsa mitima yathu pomwe tikudikira chikondwerero chakubadwa kwa mpulumutsi wathu Yesu Khristu.
Greetings and welcome to our 7:30 news bulletin here on Luntha television. Today you're with me, Bernard Manza. The headlines. Pope Francis urges spiritual renewal and joyful expectation. Ministry of Education suspends classes in southern regional districts due to Cyclone Chido. National Youth Alliance accuses recycled politicians and civil servants of causing Malawi's long-term stagnation. In other news, Cyclone Chido devastates French territory of Mayotte, leaving widespread destruction and a rising death toll. We have this, but of course we also cross over to the National Assembly in the capital, Lilongwe, where legislators have just passed the mid-year national budget. Stick around. We now give you the news in detail. Pope Francis has called on the faithful to prepare for the coming of Christ with humility, hope, and acts of charity amidst the challenges of the world. The Holy Father made this appeal during Mass in Koska, marking the final public event of his 1 day for the 7th Apostolic journey abroad. We have a Vatican News report read by Charity Chilanga.
Drawing inspiration from the words of John the Baptist, who proclaimed the coming of the Messiah, Pope Francis invited all present to embrace the message of spiritual renewal and conversion. He reflected on the question posed by the crowd to John the Baptist, "What then should we do?" noting that it reminds the faithful to reflect on their actions and attitudes in preparation for the Lord's arrival. The Pope observed that this question did not come from those considered righteous, such as the Pharisees and scholars of the law, but rather from those often considered outsiders, including tax collectors and soldiers. Pope Francis emphasized that the gospel message stirs the conscience of the most vulnerable, including the poor and the outcasts, who are drawn to Christ to be saved rather than condemned. In today's world, the Pope noted the call to conversion remains open to all, regardless of past failings. He acknowledged the many reasons for sorrow and despair, including extreme poverty, wars, corruption, and violence. Nevertheless, Pope Francis emphasized that the will of God never fails to encourage the faithful, adding that despite suffering, the Church proclaims an unshakable hope that does not disappoint.
Charity Chilanga giving us that Vatican News report. Bishop Vincent Mwakwa of the Catholic Church in Malawi has stressed the need for the clergy to be ambassadors of hope among the people in their respective communities. He made the sentiments on Sunday at Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Kapiri Parish in Mchinji during the ordination of Brother Keston Tongole, who has been ordained a deacon to the Order of the Discussed Carmelites, OCD. We have a report read by Heobert Katanda.
Quoting the Pope Francis letter announcing the Jubilee year, that the world is in a state of helplessness and the loss of hope because of so many challenges being faced economically and socially, Bishop Mwakwa said the Church expects that those who have been given the sacrament of holy orders should bring the word of life to the people of God, which is the key for the people to have much hope.
The deacon is the sign of hope. He has to preach hope. He has to bring hope to people through his word, through his preaching, but also through his prayer and also presence in the communities to encourage, to be with the people so that they can, through him, experience the presence of Jesus Christ.
On the other hand, Bishop Mwakwa urged the parishioners to love prayer, saying it is the first missionary activity, adding that prayer is the first apostolate.
So we want the families here to pray for the parish, but also for the archdiocese and the whole world, so that we can build a better place in this country and the whole world. And also that they should have hope. The challenges they face in this country, we face, they should not make them lose hope, but they should have hope in Jesus Christ, who is risen, who is powerful to change things.
Reverend Father Ludovico Bafuta, the Provincial Superior of the Disciplined Carmelites in Malawi, called on parents and guidance to always encourage their children to pray and take part in the life of their church by attending masses.
They should be attending the masses, attending the prayers, and also even joining different groups that are there in our parishes for the children. This will help the children to develop the desire to serve God through the life, through religious life, and also through priesthood.
Deacon Tongole expressed his greatest excitement for the ordination and thanked God for leading him through his formation. The deaconate is one of the 3 degrees of holy orders, along with episcopate and priesthood.
Heobert Katanda reading that report. President Lazarus Chakwera has expressed his appreciation for the private sector's efforts in supporting the country's development goals, specifically in achieving the Malawi 2063. This commendation came during his recent visit to Reply Malawi Limited Factory, where he witnessed firsthand the progress of production activities, including the impressive tree planting program. We have a report by Emmanuel Chuocha.
Malawi is currently in its rainy season, a critical period for agricultural activities. Farmers are busy planting various crops, while citizens are encouraged to participate in a national tree planting initiative. This campaign not only promotes environmental conservation, but also supports sustainable development. Accompanied by the First Lady, Monica Jagwera, the President inspected several activities at Repre Malawi Limited, Nursery, including the Chawuteka Nursery, Ply Mill Briquettes section, and Medium Density Fiber MDF board section. He also planted a tree near the factory main entrance, symbolizing his commitment to environmental stewardship. By it, Jagwera emphasized the importance of taking care of the environment and planting more trees during the rainy season. His appeal resonates with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Climate ambitious plans to plant 400 million trees this year, an initiative set to be launched tomorrow. Yusuf Nkungula, Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Natural Resources and Climate, highlighted the significance of this initiative. The goal is to promote sustainable development, mitigate climate change, and ensure a greener future for Malawi. Repre Malawi Limited involvement in environmental conservation efforts serves as a model for other private sectors entities. By supporting sustainable initiatives, they contribute to the country's development and environmental well-being. For Luntha News, this is Emmanuel Juocha.
Ministry of Education has suspended schools in several districts of the southern region due to Cyclone Chido to ensure the safety of learners and teachers in the affected areas. The ministry says schools in districts such as Machinga, Zomba, Parombe, Mulanje, Cholo, Chiradzuru, Chikwawa and Nsanji, among others, will remain closed until December 18th, 2024. Faris Chizombe reports.
In a statement signed by Lecho Jimbwete, Principal Education Secretary, disclosed that the suspension is a precautionary measure to protect children from the strong winds and heavy rains brought by Cyclone Chido. The cyclone has already caused destruction to infrastructure in some parts of the country. The Ministry of Education has instructed all schools to monitor the weather patterns in their localities and only resume classes on December 18th if deemed safe. In addition, district education officers have been asked to ensure that all schools and stakeholders adhere to this notification. The Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services has warned of strong winds and significant rainfall in southern and parts of central Malawi due to Cyclone Chido. The public has been advised to take necessary precautions such as inspecting the strength of buildings and structures, and blocking waterways and drainages and being on high alert for possible flooding. Students in boarding schools in the affected districts have been instructed to remain in their schools, and their management has been asked to exercise necessary caution to keep students safe during this time. The Ministry of Education's decision to suspend schools is a responsible measure to ensure that the safety of learners and teachers in the face of Cyclone Chido. The suspension of schools will undoubtedly cause some inconvenience, but it is a necessary step to protect the well-being of students and educators. Fales Chizombe, Luntha News.
A recently founded youth-led political party, the National Youth Alliance, NYA, has accused public bureaucrats and recycled politicians of causing Malawi's long-term stagnation. NYA President Vasco Nkobi Mantropa has told Luntha Television that the way most politicians and civil servants handle public issues is outdated, which is why Malawi is not making progress. He has promised that the party will field young candidates who he thinks have the capacity to change the nation in the next tripartite elections. He explains more.
The National Youth Alliance will come and change the old archaic system that has bedeviled the country for many years. 60 years now, we've been celebrating independence each and every year. We're celebrating independence without proper achievement. Look at countries like Tanzania, they're advanced. China in 1943, 44, 40, up to 1949, we're at the same level. But currently China is the one doing roads for us, meaning to say we've remained behind. We have not progressed for many years. So the problem the system has to be formed. We have to format the system. We need a new system altogether. Number two, some people have overstayed in politics. Others have overstayed in the civil service. We have to retire these people. We need to inject fresh, new blood that can bring in new ideas. The third one, you look at our fuel problems. We have fuel, we have forex shortage, we have water problems, electricity. As National Youth Alliance, will bring together the technocrats, the CEOs, the business tycoons, both within and outside Malawi, who work out all these things together. You know, learning government is not one-man show. You involve other brains, you involve other people. So as NYA, it's a youthful party, yes, by the youths, yes, but we'll still get wisdom from those people who have been into this, but will not involve them directly, because we've seen to say the moment you take them indirectly, they mess up things, because most of them, they have nothing to fear. They think like they have remained a few years. Young people, want to encourage them. Don't lose hope. The situation is bad. The economy is bad. Many things are topsy-turvy in the country. Things are very bad. You don't have school fees. You don't have place for accommodation for your school. Don't lose hope. When this government comes in next year, things will change for the better.
You're watching our news bulletin here on Luntha television, and you are with me, Brennan Manza. We'll be back shortly after this. Welcome back to our news bulletin here on Luntha television, coming to you live from our Bishop Navy Media Center in Area 2, Lilongwe. Now, a reminder of our top stories before we proceed. Pope Francis urges spiritual renewal and joy for expectation. Ministry of Education suspends classes in southern region districts due to Cyclone Chido. National Youth Alliance accuses recycled politicians and civil servants of causing Malawi's long-term stagnation. In other news, Cyclone Chido devastates French territory of Mayotte, leaving widespread destruction and a rising death toll. Moving on, Balaka TB office says it has registered 38 active leprosy presumptive in the last three quarters of the 2024. Balaka District Tuberculosis Officer Albert Storo said the active leprosy presumptive cases are as a result of the intensive awareness on the communities through TB volunteers. He said the district is making strides in case findings and has encouraged people to go for screening for early diagnosis. Jean Ngaland Bennett is reading a report filed by Andrew Nandolo.
Community TB Volunteers Awareness Campaign has proven to be effective as the district of Balaka has registered 38 active leprosy presumptive cases. Sitolo said he's happy with the role the volunteers are playing in communities, a thing he said has triggered the numbers. He also commended the Catholic Church for the support it renders to leprosy survivors by accommodating them at Leprosy Village in Utale 2 parish since 1992.
The first quarter of this year, 2024, we had 7 cases, and now the second quarter we had 17, and now we have 10. So the trend is going upwards. So there is more that is needed to eliminate leprosy in the district and as a nation at large. And also we would like to thank the Catholic Church for supporting these leprosy survivors at Utare 2. Many of them are, I think much of the support is coming in from them, because even the village was built by the Catholic team. So we are extending our sincere gesture of appreciation to them for their support. So we are still lobbying for more support to help these leprosy survivors and also the patients that are now taking leprosy drugs.
In an interview, Father Samuel Malamulo, who is the parish priest for Utale 2 parish under the Diocese of Mangochi, said the leprosy survivors need long-term support. He said the church has done its part, and now it's time government, donors, and people of goodwill should assist.
And for so many years since its establishment, the village has been enjoying the support from Montfort Fathers, and the support mainly came from Italy. And the last person to be interested in supporting this village, supporting the occupants, supporting the new arrivals was His Lordship Bishop Pagani. As Malawians, we can't keep on relying on outside help when we know that there are so many people in Malawi who have been blessed by God, who can contribute something to the leprosy village so that our brothers who has no one to help them can have what they need for their life, for their daily survival.
Balaka District TB Office, with support from Development Aid from People to People, DAP, with funding from Global Fund through World Vision, has lined up activities like training of community TB volunteers to make sure awareness messages on the importance for people to go for leprosy and TB screening reach everyone.
Now we'll cross over to Parliament to hear more on what has passed. The Parliament has passed the mid-year national budget, which has seen an increased allocation from 5.9 trillion kwacha to 6.04 trillion kwacha. The national budget reached the Committee of Supply stage, where allocations to departments, ministries, and government agencies were carefully examined vote by vote for possible changes. Among other things, a motion to change the allocation for state residences under vote 050 from 42.5 billion kwacha to 46.9 billion kwacha has also been adopted. According to Finance Minister Simplex Chichola Banda, 1 billion kwacha of the additional cash should be used for a personal monument, whereas the remaining money will be used for ongoing transactions and the restoration of state houses. The Road Fund Administration Vote 274 allocation has been revised downwards from 303 billion kwacha to 254.7 billion kwacha, and the Finance Minister says the reduction will mostly affect the extent of work for road rehabilitation and building. According to the revised current estimates, the budget for Vote 460, the Malawi Electoral Commission, has been changed from 59.7 billion kwacha to 61.5 billion kwacha instead. Meanwhile, the minister has reaffirmed that the national budget is an austerity budget that aims to cut back on government spending and, in turn, domestic borrowing. This is part of what Minister of Finance Simplex Chichola Banda had to say.
From both sides of the aisle are very much concerned with the economic status of this country. This is an indication that they want to be part and parcel, not only by getting feedbacks and updates, negotiations.
Paramount Chief Kawinga of Machinga District says there is no hope of eliminating the hunger that his people are suffering from in the current economic crisis and climate challenges. Paramount Kawinga made the remarks during a humanitarian ceremony where the Norwegian Church Aid and Dan Church Aid, through Find Your Feet organization, made a distribution of cash to 750 families in response to the severe hunger crisis that has affected his area. He worries that the problem will recycle itself to next year as farmers might not afford this year's farming activities due to the rise in farm inputs. Rashida Matandika reports.
Among these people looking healthy and smiling, there are tales of endurance, faith and hope of living the next day without knowing how they will survive. In an interview with Luntha television, one of the beneficiaries, Felina Kuyaka, said they will at least be free-minded for a few weeks while they search for other means to secure more food for their families after receiving the donation from NCA-DCA. Kuyaka said they have been relying on velvet beans, then mangoes came along, which are now finishing. She, however, said the mangoes have a negative effect when highly consumed, citing that some older people and children collapse from overeating the fruit, while others are also dying from the severe hunger.
Pakadali pano pa mango pamene afika pokupya anthu akumasenda mango aja ndi kumadya. Komanso akumadya osaphika, komanso ena akumatha kuphika so kwasenda senda ndi kungophika komanso sakumathiaso chani juice kapena chani kapena sugar number 1. Komanso anthu ena kwathu kuno anthu amwalirapo ndipo mali anatayidwa anjala komanso simuti ndi kokhako ena kukhala kukomoka malinga ndikuti nanga sinjala ikafika pachani pachimake akakomokako popeza munthu otayandikana kapanga chonje amba zipeza naringa phala kutani kwapatsa.
Paramount Chief Kawinga at even next year facing in food insecurity. Paramount Kawinga challenged government to subsidize farm inputs for everyone in the country so that people can buy on their own.
Sono kuti tithane nazo zimenezi ndikukhulupirira kuti boma likanangochepetsa mitengo ya fertilizer chinali chidule. Koma indedi tikunena kuti agula anthu ambiri olemera koma ngakhala agule iwowo koma boma litayika mpata wakuti wina aliyense agule mochipirapo zingatichitire bwino.
Senior Humanitarian Officer at NCA-DCA Joint Country Program, Augustine Mpotonde, said their response has been made after a survey done in collaboration with their partner Find Your Feet found out the severity of the problem in the district, backed up by the MVAC report. He said although their support is a once-off intervention, their partner Find Your Feet is working on a sustainable intervention to reduce the challenge.
Yeah, for sure. That's why we are working with Find Your Feet in this community. So Find Your Feet is one of the organizations that is running a long-term interventions. So for us, we rely on them. However, we might also think of bringing in some more kind of sustainable interventions in this community. But at the moment, we are relying on Find Your Feet, who are implementing the long-term interventions in this community.
Each family has received 80,000 kwacha in the assistant multiple cash transfer, which has been made with funding from Danida through the NCA-DCA Joint Country Program. Rashida Matandika, Luntha TV, Machinga.
And finally, in other news, Cyclone Chido has left a trail of destruction in the French territory of Mayotte, with the death toll estimated to be in the hundreds, possibly even thousands. The island's top government official revealed that the cyclone's impact has been catastrophic, with widespread destruction of public infrastructure, neighborhoods, and electricity supplies. We have an African News report read by Charite Chilanga.
The French Interior Ministry has confirmed at least 11 deaths and over 250 injuries, but warns that these numbers are expected to rise significantly. Mayotte, located in the southern western Indian Ocean, is France's poorest island and the poorest territory in the European Union, with a population of over 300,000 spread across two main islands. The cyclone's devastation has been particularly severe in the slums, where matriarchs and informal structures have been destroyed. The official death toll is considered impossible, given the extent of the destruction. In response to the disaster, France has rushed the rescue teams and supplies to the island, with plans to establish an air and sea bridge to facilitate